Niamh-Creators, Niamh here, and I am going to be making some pouches for some artist trading cards. And if you saw the video last Sunday, you saw that the kids and I were making some artist trading cards for ourselves and for family, and basically, I'm going to be giving a set of artist trading cards to several different members of our family, and the special surprise part of it is that I'm going to be making some pouches for them, and also embroidering something nice on each one, and making sure all the colors are things that they're gonna like. And yeah, so join me on this adventure, and let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to try to figure out what pattern we want for this. And I usually make up my own patterns. I very rarely use a pre-made pattern. And I am going to be making a pouch for cards that are 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches. So, but we want to have some extra room because we want to be able to fit a lot of cards in it. So for the height, for the length, well, 3.5, we're going to be folding the fabric in half, so it's got to be double the length. So if we do 3.5 times 2, that's 7 inches, but then we wouldn't have any extra room, right? So we want to add, we want to make the height of this probably about, you know, this is 11 inches. Let's say a foot. Let's say 12 inches. So 12 inches. So that gives extra height. And that, you know, that may be a little too big. Maybe we'll go paper size, 11 inches. That also makes it easier because then I could probably cut it straight out of this. All right, so now for the width. The width of the cards is 2.5 inches. We want to have at least an extra inch on each side of the. So let's say this is the card. I know it's a little bit bigger than this, but just about like that is about the size of the cards, right? We want to add about an inch on each side, and it will be doubled because on the other side there will be another inch, right? So so an inch on each side, so that's 2 inches to that, so it's 8.5 by 4.5. Let's go with 5. Let's just bring it to 5. So the pattern is going to be 11 inches. That makes it easy because we will just use a piece of regular paper and about 5 inches in that way. So, all right, so let's, I'm gonna cut out a piece from here to be the pattern for all of these. All right, so what I'm doing here is I'm placing that pattern on top of some fabric, and this is the purple fabric that's going to be Bridget's pouch, and I'm pinning it so that there's about an inch seam allowance all the way around, a little less than an inch. It's probably like half an inch with 3/4. And that just allows it for some allowance for the sewing. And then I'm using that as a template to cut out all the other fabrics. Now for the inside fabric here, I'm taking that initial template and I'm adding an inch on each side. And that's because that's going to roll over the top of the pouch, so because the inside fabric is going to go over the outside fabric at the lip. Okay, so we are going to do Rhiannon's next, okay, Bridget? Okay. So we're going to do Rhiannon's now, and you see how I have a big hole right here from the last embroidery that I did?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we want to, but I have a whole bunch of this left over, so we're going to reuse this. And here's how we'll do it. We'll open this up and pull it apart like that, because we always do it 2-ply, so there's 2 at a time. And then I'm going to go up like this. Now let's see, it's not quite big enough. Okay, so we will go up about this far, maybe, like that, maybe? Let's see. Let's see. Not quite, not quite. So we're just trying to figure out the, here we go. See, we'll bend it over like that, and then we'll fold it. You just gotta figure out how to situate it. Yep, that's perfect. All right, so this is really crinkly though, so we're gonna iron this just a bit. And this is still hot. I unplugged this iron, but it's still hot because we were just ironing. So, yep, that just the right amount of heat still left on there to flatten that. Okay, so then we'll put it right there, and we'll put this over. Are you excited about Rhiannon's?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's Rhiannon's going to be?
A monkey.
A monkey, because what's Rhiannon's favorite animal?
A monkey.
A monkey. What's your favorite animal?
Cat.
Cats.
That's why I'm a cat. Whole bunch of cats.
Meow, 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 meow. All right, so I'm really pushing it in, pushing it in. All right, and tightening it up. Here we go. Now, I did run out of my adhesive spray. This is all gone. This is completely empty. So I'll have to sometime get a new one, but since I don't have one, I'll have to deal without it. And, oh, yes, and how I've been doing this too, figuring out the situation, where to situate it. I've been folding that in half and taking a fabric pen. This is an invisible, well, it's not invisible ink, it's washable ink. So it'll over time, it'll fade and wash off. And I just marked the halfway line right there. And then I put the halfway line right where this is at, the bottom line of this. That's where I'm putting the line, so that we situate, and then I just kind of eyeball it to center left and right. So that's how we're doing it, like that. Okay, are you about ready to put this on the machine?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's do that. Okay, Bridget, you ready for the next part of this?
Yeah.
So we're gonna put it in the machine, the arm of the sewing machine. So we're going to do that right now. I've also pinned this down so that the fabric stays still, because I don't have it hooped in the hoop itself. That's the better way to do it, to hoop the fabric in the hoop itself, but I don't like doing that because it's kind of a pain in the butt for me. So I don't like to do that. So I float it. That's what that's called, floating the fabric. And most professional places, you know, the places that sell these things, or sell the sewing machine or the embroideries and things like that, will say, oh, don't float it, but that's only because there's a chance that it won't come out as nicely as you want. So what I'm doing right now is I'm cutting out some, this is stabilizer that goes on the top, and it washes away, so it won't be there permanently. But I like to put this on top because it keeps a nice flat surface for the stitches to go across. So that's what I'm doing. Understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to place this on the top, and there's a whole bunch left over, so we can also reuse the bottom part for the next embroidery. I'm going to go like that, and that just sits on top. It can even get all crinkly. It doesn't matter. It just keeps the surface flat above the design itself. All right, so now let's find that design on my machine. You ready for that?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Bridget. So first thing, I'm going to change the hoop size because I'm using a 100 by 100 hoop. And then it is done with that. Now I'm going to click the file folder. And since we are using a plugin, I'm not sure if the cameras can see this, but this is where the external thing is at. I can't think of the word. All right, so there's a plugin, a USB plugin for that. So then we'll click that, click the USB device. There we go, and open it up. Now it's gonna open. All right, now we need to find that file right there. That's right, that's what it was. All right, we've got the design there. So we need black and we need pink. All right, so we've picked our design, we've picked our colors. Now I'm gonna press the word go. Okay, now we're going to thread this. So the first color is pink. So we put that through there, and then we've got to, oh, whoops. We got to take this off first. This cap, that goes here, and then the cap goes on top. Can you push the cap down? Good job. All right, so this is a difficult part here. It's just very tricky and windy. So it goes this way, then under here, then down here, then up over here, and in here. And then back and there. All right, now I'm going to snip this. Okay, snip this and thread it. Yep. All right, so that's threaded. I'm gonna lift up the foot. Now, so that this stays still and that the fabric stays still, because I haven't hooped the fabric, I have it floating. I click the button that says fix. All right, so at this point, can you press start? Start, right there. Press it, there you go. Now it's gonna have me snip off that tail that I was holding on.
And now press OK.
Okay, press OK. And now press start. Press it. Okay. So you see that the fabric on the top got all crinkled up. That's fine. All right, now I want you to press start because now it's going to start going. All right. There we go. Now it's going. How's it going, Bridget?
Good.
Good? It's embroidering well?
Yeah.
Yeah? Can you say hi?
Hi.
Who's this one for?
Rhiannon.
Rhiannon.
Rhiannon next condo. Rhiannon next condo. Yeah. Okay, Bridget, we've finished the monkey for Rhiannon. Now we've got to get rid of this fix stitch that's all around. You see that? The fix stitch? You see that? Yeah.
Yeah. So we turn it around and we just snip every couple times here in the back. All right. So on this side, we're going to lift up a little bit on this fabric, the stabilizer, silky fit stabilizer. Okay, see how it pulled up some of the stitches here? Now grab those stitches and pull. Lift up. Yep, just like that. Keep grabbing and pull all the way around. So now we got to pull up the silky fabric. Can you do that? The stabilizer.
It just rips right off. And we've got enough left over for the next design. All right. Now I'm going to pull off the...
I barely have the mouth.
Now...
I can barely see the mouth.
Now let's do this. Let's pull up. We're tearing it away from the back fabric now. Our back stabilizer. Hold on. We got a little bit. There we go. Pull this way. There we go. Good job. All right. Now what we need to do, we need to go rinse off the silky fabric and the fabric pen. Okay? You ready to go do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn on.
All right, Bridget. You see how it's all wet now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm plugging in the iron right now because we are going to iron it to help dry it. Now, while the iron is heating up, let's make sure we've got all the loose strings snipped off. All right, you ready for ironing?
Yeah.
All right, so be careful. Don't touch the iron thing, the bottom part. Yep. All right, and whoosh. We do have to be gentle with this because on the other side of this fabric is plastic, because this is polyurethane laminate. That's the type of fabric I'm using right now for this one. Which means one side is a plastic side. It's the same fabric I used to use for making cloth diapers for you and your brother and sister when you guys were babies. Okay, so for this next part, we're basically doing the same sort of thing that we did for the Halloween bags, and I will leave a card pop-up to that video. And so I'm just folding it in half the wrong way. So this is the right side, the outside of the fabric. I'm folding it this way and pinning it. Hopefully you can see from this angle. This is behind my sewing machine here. My desk, my main work desk is quite busy right now, so this was my only spot to do this. So basically I have to do this with all of these. So basically all I'm doing here is sewing straight down on each side of the pouch, and it's about an inch in, basically what that seam allowance was before when I cut out the fabric. It was about an inch in, and that's where I'm sewing just a line straight down. Okay, so we have all the embroideries on. This is inside out now, and I've actually finished all but mine right here. So that's the one I was going to show you guys. So I have this one for my sister, this one for my son, this one for my middle daughter. She likes pink, black, and blue, and monkeys. So there we go. And my youngest gets the purple kitty cat one. And then the other ones here, this is for my sister-in-law. We got the same embroidery, but different colors. And then my mother-in-law, she gets the peace dove. And my mom, my mom likes a lot of the sugar skulls type of stuff. So that's what I did for her. All right, so I'm not completely done with theirs because I still have to do a zigzag stitch all around these just to make it cleaned up and nice looking. But I will probably do that later because I don't think I'm going to have time to get that done before I have to edit and get this video up. So I'm going to show you basically what I've done with these with mine. So first things first, what I have to do is seam rip the top. This is the inside fabric. I'm having the velour fabric, and this is the outside. And in fact, I can turn this around now. So I'm just going to trim off the edges on this one. And I am going to trim the top a bit, not completely down, but just there we go. All right, now I'm going to turn it inside out. Or right side out rather. All right, and then I'm going to get this ready. And what I have to do for the inside, since I want this to fold over the top like that, and then it folds over like that, I need to have an opening like these so I can put a string through, a tie-tie. So to do that, I need to seam rip this seam about, I'm going to say about an inch and a half between there, down. And yeah, so we'll do that right now. All right, so I've seam ripped the sides about an inch and a half down. And so we've got these two flaps hanging now. And what I want to do next is sew the edges together like this. We want to fold that over and sew the edge down right here so that we have a more finished edge, so it's not a rough opening. All right, so let's do that. All right, so we have a nice edge there. And now I'm going to do that on each edge and basically do that all the way around. All right, I've got all four sides sewn now. And so the next thing I'm going to do, which I've already done on one side, is now sew across on the bottom here. So it's almost like I made a big rectangle, except not on the top. So if it went like that, the line goes like that. So like a squared off U, basically. But I did one side, and then closed it off that way. So now I'm going to close off the other side right here. All right, so we have our pouch. All four sides of the lip are sewn and sealed. So now we put it inside the pouch. All right, and I'm making sure the corners are in the corners of each. And then I hold it still and fold it over on each side. Now to keep the pouch still here, I'm going to pin that there. We don't want to pin the whole thing together, just pinning the front and the back of the outer shell and the inner shell. All right, so now I need to pin this all around so that it stays together. So now at this point, I'm going to turn the whole thing inside out and be careful and be very careful not to prick myself with the pins. I have to turn it inside out here so that I can get a better angle in under the sewing machine, because this is a small item. And small items, especially small circular items, are very difficult to use under a sewing machine. And yes, I've had lots of issues with the other ones trying to sew around the edges. But hopefully we can get this one going. All right, let's go to the sewing machine. All right, so I've sewn all the way around and now flipped it right side out. And now I have this really rough edge over here that I want to trim off. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to trim this off. Now the edge is still quite rough. So even though it's a pain in the butt to sew that way, to sew around the edges of this, I am going to go ahead and put a zigzag stitch around all of these bags just to give it a nice finished clean edge. All right. Okay, so I just put the zigzag stitch around my bag here, which does give it So now the bag is almost done. All I need to do is get a string and put it through. So I have some hemp here, and I was scrounging through my hemp trying to find some colors that would match these. I do have some purple here that I think I'll use on mine and Bridget's, and then black on a lot of these ones. These two I'll have black, and probably this one too. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. So to figure out how much I need, I am going to basically measure out plus about 2 inches on either side here, and we're going to do it 4 times. Well, three loop arounds, but there's four strands basically. So, and then I'll trim that off. So I do want to cut this in half. And basically I'm going to have one go all the way around one way and one go all the way around the other way and tie it off. So I've got one side all the way through. What I'm going to do is just make sure the edges are even, and then I'm just going to tie just a regular knot. And of course our family members are welcome to change the strings if they don't like it. It's just that this is the only thing I had. The only thing I had was hemp, so that's what we've got. Go with what you've got. Alright, so now I'm going to do the other side. On this side, I weaved this one through starting on one way, and it came out the other way and tied it together. This time I'm going to go through the other hole and basically go the opposite way. Alright, so now that I've trimmed these, now it's nice and snug. Some artist trading cards. There we go.
Alright, so here's the finished pieces. I hope everyone likes their bags for their artist trading cards. Thanks for joining me. Happy holidays, everyone. Bye.